We were in Raleigh to support our U.S. partner ClearTouch at the North Carolina Technology and Education Society conference. While trade show attendees are mostly teachers, we saw groups of students gathering around the Snowflake software. Enabling students to explore different topics at the same time is really important for creativity and keeping students motivated. I'm always curious about the decision-making process schools use for choosing EdTech, so I was excited to hear about this process from Butch Rooney, the CTO of Davie County High School.
To engage our teachers in making the decision and get that decision made so we could get the products in hand so we could open school with actually something working, right? As it was voted back from the teachers as being the most usable software in the classroom. Went to the board, they approved it, and we submitted the purchase order. Teachers by department voted, and the unanimous choice of Davie High was the ClearTouch panels. ClearTouch is fabulous with their support. They will send you parts, and our techs can actually go out, take the back of the panel off, and replace any of the faulty parts because it's a modular design. You will not see that in a lot of the IFPs on the market. So this actually helps us keep the technology working for the teachers. We can respond quickly.
Next up, instructional technologist Hugh Lee shared about how they train teachers to use physics simulations of cue balls and electrical circuits over a tabletop display. Math Department Chair Yvette Shore talked about the importance of video and formative feedback for engagement with high school math. Wanted to learn about how teachers' practice is changing, so I spoke with Shayna Muirhead, who does teacher training at ConnectView.
Teachers want to have all these ways to show content differently. It's all about ways to put the 4 quadrants in, so the 4 different zones. Google is really big, so they love to show their Google Slides. They like to bring up a PowerPoint. They like to have the option to bring in video, but then bring in that interactive lesson. But having it all on one screen so everyone can see it and still using a whiteboard.
Seeing them play on the tabletop reminded us why we have zones that can run different apps at the same time.
I don't know, like death by PowerPoint, right? Where you're falling asleep in class. It's like, oh my gosh, we're just lecturing and lecturing. Today we can bring a lot more in to give a lot more stimulus and a lot more engagement and a lot more ways to communicate because you're seeing more stuff you can talk about. Today they want to come in and have everything loaded, easy to use, easy to see, great visuals. So it's not about just showing content, but they can actually come to the board and actually utilize that content. So if you can show a Google slide in one quadrant and then let's say a YouTube video in another, and then I can have a whiteboard canvas, and maybe I have another whiteboard opened up with a browser option or maybe my activity, they can see all those same key pieces, and students who are maybe ahead of the game can move forward, and the students who maybe are still trying to write that last minute note don't have to worry about it disappearing off the screen. Well, you're not narrowing their teaching, but you're actually opening and giving them more of a horizon, a bigger landscape, more options, but like you said, there's no limitations. So today it's, if you're in a classroom and maybe your district's using Google primarily, right? And Google has tons of great options, but then you're just stuck to opening a browser. And that's it, right? You don't really get a lot of exploration. But they want to show other things. They have to keep navigating outside of those sources, where today in Snowflake Multi-Teach, you can put it all in one place. Today, it's exciting because as teachers, time is limiting.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time to learn a lot more. I'm also playing off what my students need too. They also need a lot of additional ways to have visuals and resources that are effective, because sometimes it's different for every student. Some students might need to see that video, but other students might need to see it in writing. But if I can put both of it there, I'm actually knocking out both of those same components on the same screen. Showing 4 different browsers could have the same content, but they're all different. But now you can talk about the why instead of saying, well, can you go back to that other one so I can see that? Now you can do that. So I think today we're so information heavy, right? I mean, we talked about today like blackboards and your book. Now we're talking about websites and streaming. And
everyone who has watched YouTube videos and can't remember what was in them is not alone. Benedict Carey refers to this phenomena as the fluency illusion. Psychology research has shown that if we practice retrieving information from a video through questions, then our memory of it will improve dramatically. To learn about this retrieval practice in schools, I spoke with teacher instructional technologist Kevin Spencer, who does training on retrieval practice.
instead of just teaching technology classes, part of my technology classes has to do with the way the brain works. Not just assigning an online sort of quiz or an online sort of study session, but now, why are you doing that? Is it better because of retrieval practice? Is it better because now you know why it's working, so now you can go out and pick it, you can even do a better job of reviewing with your kids because you know the brain work and the research behind it. First class that I have, they do several hours of research, brain research on retrieval practice,
right.
And then we go out looking for some of the tools they're already using, Quizlet and Kahoot. There's so much technology out there, and we're NCTIES, and it's just thrown at me. And I'm a technology person, and I'm overwhelmed today after day one. And so it's very easy for me to go back and say, oh, I learned this, I'm going to go back and use it right away.
Yeah.
And I could use it and maybe get a couple of kids or a couple of teachers to experiment, but knowing why it works makes it even better. Like, so now that I know, now that I've got this retrieval practice filter in my brain,
yeah.
I'm starting to say things like, does this fit into the retrieval practice?
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified when new videos come out, click the bell.